What's going on, it's the RapNerd. Just got out of seeing The Matrix Resurrection.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.
This movie ended up being kind of what I feared it would be. I'm pretty much indifferent about it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just a movie that's just here. And when I say what I feared, I mean, like I said, it's just a movie that didn't really add a huge jump in the legacy of the Matrix. It doesn't tarnish it, I'll say that. So it doesn't tarnish it, but it doesn't add anything, and that's kind of what I was afraid of. And please take every comment I say with utmost respect to everybody, the crew, the writers, the director. I know her first name is, I can't say her last name, I always butcher it, but no disrespect. I love the first Matrix. I love the entire trilogy. The first one blew my mind. And again, like I said, I love the trilogy. So this is from no malice at all. None whatsoever. But I think it just, and I say it doesn't add anything to the legacy, and it just kind of feels like it wasn't really that needed, even though I understand her story. So I am not by no means saying how she felt is not a reasoning, or I'm dismissing that, but it just kind of wasn't really needed, honestly. It goes down the same path of the other movies. It doesn't really do anything that much different than those. It pays a lot of homage to all three, and you can see it in fight sequences and the way things happen. There are a lot of cool moments. I was like, oh, that's a callback to to that. And it's because it's kind of, the whole movie was kind of like this for me. When it first started, it was a little bit difficult for me to get into it because the tone was so different. What's the term? It's really meta. That's what it really plays on, that aspect of being meta. And I kind of give it kudos because The Matrix is the beginning of this whole obsession with meta, but it's been that way though since since this movie released in the 90s. It's been the landmark for the whole meta world that we live in. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, it didn't really tread any new territory, and it didn't really add a lot. Like, even like the action and the camera movement and cinematography of this film, it's a completely different type of way it's handled in comparison to the other three. And I referenced the other three because this film has inserts of the other three movies, like throughout it, like in certain spots. And when those scenes pop on screen and it goes back, you can clearly tell the difference in cinematography quality. Like, honestly, like, you can. It's just very, very clear. They shot this one with a lot of, how can I say it, single cam movement, handheld shots, and for the most part in the 90s versions you don't really see that a lot. So it automatically just kind of puts it in a different place, and it's a little bit of a downgrade from the cinematography. The action itself too, it's like, it's not anything that we haven't seen before in any of these movies. Like, and that's why when they announced that it's a continuation, I'm like, The Matrix is a hard thing to top. A lot of people didn't even like Reloaded or Revolutions. I love both. I loved all three, but a lot of people don't even like those. So I'm like, for this one personally, if you didn't like those sequels to the first one, I can't really see you liking this one, honestly. I do think you should check it out for yourself if you are a Matrix fan, because it's just worth seeing again and seeing what they built on the lore. But again, it's an expansion of an idea that already has been tackled in the other movies. And again, they present some new concepts, of course, but still, it's not anything that's like mind blowing like the first two. The first one, honestly. How can I say it? I'm trying to think what else to say. Performance wise, everybody did their job, for sure. That's a no-brainer. But again, it just didn't really add a whole lot. And forewarning, there is a lot of exposition in this movie, a lot of it, like to explain how Neo is here, still alive and everything. It is a lot of exposition. I mean, there are certain scenes that are legitimately exposition dumps, like on some Tenet stuff. Like, and I mentioned Tenet because it kind of. I don't want to compare it to other movies, but it just didn't hit the way I really wanted it to. And I don't, did I say this earlier? But the cinematography, right, and the action, and why I think the action just pales in comparison. Personally, I'm trying to figure out. I think it's the shutter speed. They shot it at a faster shutter speed, if I remember correctly, for a lot of the action. So certain spots of the action look like a TV show. And again, I don't mean no disrespect at all, but what I mean by TV show is, if you ever see Miami Vice, how that movie looks, a lot of the action looks like that because they crank the shutter speed up, and it just doesn't look as cinematic. It kind of looks like live camera footage when some of the action is going on. And even with some of the action too, like the focus, like the camera is like kind of too close to the action to really see what's going on. Because I mean, there's one shot when there's like a bunch of people fighting, and the way it's lined up, the characters are kind of lined up on screen and they're fighting, and it's so close you can't really see what is going on. And and again, like, it has scenes where you see, like, here this movie, and it'll flash back to something. It showed like a fighting scene for how it was done back then, and it's just way different. Back then, the camera was panning back, and you could see everything. Like wasn't no cuts. Like, it's just, I'm just a little disappointed. Not gonna front. With me holding the Matrix so high, I was really expecting more, but it's just a rehashing of what's already been said. And to be frank, I can see this movie kind of pissing some people off. I'm not gonna, like, the way it ends. I can see this movie taking some people off. It didn't bother me, but I'm just like, ooh, this is gonna make some folks mad. Ooh, this is gonna make some folks mad. But I'm not gonna say what it is, but it has to do with the ending. When you see it, you're either gonna one, hate it, or you're gonna be like me, where I'm like, somebody's gonna be pissed. But other than that, man, this one wasn't doing it for me, man. Again, definitely check it out, whether that be the theaters or HBO Max. Definitely give it a watch if you are a fan of The Matrix. I'm really disappointed, yo. Like, I'm trying to think of anything else I can say before getting off here, because I just don't want to paint this. It just pains me to even speak, this way about The Matrix because of what it means to me. It's one of the movies that got me into film, so to see it not live up to what I thought, and I went in not expecting it to be better than anything. I just expecting it to be like the sequels. I'm like, if it can give me that, at least that, I'm cool. But you can't recapture the magic. It's just some characterization that's just like, it doesn't make it as exciting, because you see certain characters doing these things in the other movies, so when you see them now, either the way they are or in a changed format, it's just not the same. The Matrix was a lightning in a bottle thing that it's hard to just recapture that. And I think that's pretty much all I got, man. Gotta shout out Fanbolt again for getting me early screenings, and when you see it, let me know what you think, your thoughts and all of that. And RapNerd's out.